Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, jumping back into Personal Pension Radio. Thank you again so much for your support. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the downloads, and please continue to share this out. I've had a number of comments coming back to me via email and posts that people have shared this out. Really do appreciate that. That is the ultimate flattery, is when someone actually listens to your content and shares it with a friend or a family member. So that's awesome. You heard that. I am the income engineer. I love the conversation around maximizing retirement income. It really is an engineering process. An engineering process is one where there's generally multiple moving pieces or multiple bits of data that are involved in creating the outcome. It's not just one thing that makes it happen. I am broadcasting from the very skunky Personal Pension Radio workshop here in Southern California. Yes, you heard it right. Skunks. Oh my gosh. So one thing I have yet to do with my workshop, those of you who listen to the show, you know that I have a full wood shop in my backyard here in Southern California, and I have not put a skirt around the building. It's just been many different projects, and it's one of the things that I procrastinated. And without a skirt, something to block the critters from going under my building, we've had rabbits, and that's not been a big deal. Rabbits, no big deal. Well, I believe a skunk or skunk family or 30 skunks have taken up residence under the building. So, yeah, that is not good. So, yes, I will be skirting the building soon. Now, enough about my workshop. My mission is absolutely to zero in on that retirement dream conversation, that maximum income, maximum lifestyle. I want to help you pull back the curtains. I want you to think about mainstream financial advice from a different perspective so that you can ask the questions that are right for you. Now, I want to jump right in though, and I want to remind you that I am not a CPA. I am not an attorney. I am a certified financial planning professional. All that being said, please don't act on things that you hear on this show as if it's advice in your specific situation. Please meet with a qualified financial planner. Hopefully me. Obviously, I have a bias. I work with folks all over the country. I work with folks from Florida to Tennessee to New York to Southern California, Northern California, all via the internet and web-based meetings and a good old-fashioned phone call. The world is very small nowadays. But please, don't act on advice that you hear on this show, and especially, please, don't act on advice that you hear from financial entertainers, people who are not licensed, who are not regulated, monitored, observed in any way, that they really shouldn't be giving out financial advice, but they are. So please don't do that. Meet with a qualified financial planner. Go through the process of discovery before you take any action. Now, Deal of the week. This week, an interesting one. Fix it first. Okay, so I had a washing machine. I have a washing machine and a dryer that were actually a wedding gift, some 15 years ago. 15 years ago. So we'd gotten a wedding gift from my mom. Yes, that's the kind of wedding gift my mom gives. She gives a washer and dryer set, right? So the new married couple can move in and have a washer and dryer in the laundry room. So we've had this washer and dryer for a long time. I've had a few issues with it, minor things that I've been able to take care of. Well, on Saturday, I put in a big load of all kinds of towels and various other things, ran the machine, and I checked it, and the machine wasn't working. It was definitely broken. Now, I'm a pretty handy person. However, on a Saturday with a big giant load of wet laundry, how am I going to get a part for a machine? For those of you who don't know this, appliance parts are generally not available in any retail outlet where you can go get them nowadays. There is no collection of parts easily available. You have to order them. You have to actually send away in the mail and wait for them to arrive. Well, my first instinct, if you've heard the show, was I'm going to check Craigslist and just replace this old washing machine. I'm going to check Craigslist and see what's out there. And I found a $300 machine available just 20 minutes away. And it was actually a machine that sold new for $1,300. So this machine, that's pretty sophisticated, looks cool. I got kind of excited. And then I remembered, hold on a second. Let's just do one more quick check. And I remembered I've got a guy. Actually, my mom's got a guy. My mom had been introduced to a repair guy by one of her friends. Several years ago, she had gotten introduced to this gentleman, and I just thought, why not? You know what? I'm going to text him. And I texted him on a Saturday at 6 p.m., and he texted me back and showed up on Sunday at noon. He was coming back from a visit with a family member in my vicinity and stopped by with his bag o' tricks and for $80 repaired my broken washing machine with a part, by the way, that yes, I could have gotten for less than $80. Could I have gotten it in one day for less than $80? Maybe not. Could I have fixed it easily in 20 minutes? Probably not. I do woodworking. I don't do appliances, right? It is fixed. Is it fixed forever? No, of course not. But did I just save $300 and it would take me a lot of $80 repairs to actually get to the point where, oh man, I wished I'd bought that washing machine. And of course, if I'd bought the $300 washing machine 6 months from now, it would need $5,000 worth of work, right? So that's my deal of the week. We've forgotten in this disposable merchandise society, in this culture of disposable items, right? And obsolete, it's planned obsolescence, that we just don't fix things anymore. There are repair guys and gals out there that will fix a lot of these things for you. Double check that before you just go out and pay cash, even if you're getting a deal. Now, watch your step. Last week, I talked about the Wall Street Journal report on Bitcoin. If you want to go back and refresh yourself on that, please do. The Wall Street Journal reporting that major brokerage firms and investment houses just completely saying no to Bitcoin. I have a particular take on why that is. You might want to go back and just check that out. If you have any questions about Bitcoin, go check that out. Now, this week, I want to give you a reminder. I want to give you a 4% rule reminder. Pay close attention to this. If you've never really thought about retirement income, you've got to know what the world, financial advisor world, Wall Street is teaching. You've got to know what you're up against so that you can decide if you want to head in that direction or not. So here's what the 4% rule says. The 4% rule says, if you get into a retirement-ready position and you have a certain amount of money, you've got to answer the question, based on the uncertain ups and downs of the markets, stocks and bonds, etc., based on the ups and downs of those markets, how much money can we draw from our retirement assets without running out of money before we die? All right, that's the question that the 4% rule attempts to answer. And it's been around for a long, long time. A few episodes ago now, I've actually done a more deep dive into this. But here's the thing. Let's just talk about some simple numbers. Really set the stage for this. So let's say that you are on track right now to have $500,000 saved up in retirement assets. I'm saying that very clearly to get this point across. Retirement assets are those things that you plan to draw income and lifestyle from. A paid off house is not a retirement asset unless you plan on getting a reverse mortgage that pays you income every month. So a paid off house that's worth $1 million and you're not getting a reverse mortgage on it, it is not a retirement asset because you're getting zero lifestyle income from that asset. So I'm talking about lifestyle. I'm talking about retirement income that covers that lifestyle. If you have $500,000 of retirement assets, the 4% rule says, based on a healthy couple, two people, in around 62 to 65, you shouldn't take out more than $20,000 a year to start your retirement. And you can increase that number by inflation next year, but you should start with $20,000 a year, and that will probably possibly work where you don't run out of money, the two of you, before each of you dies. Think about that for a second. How hard was it to save up $500,000, right? You got to save for a long time, and then, hey, don't take out more than $20,000. Now, you got $1 million, same thing, $40,000. You got $3 million projected in your retirement account, $120,000. The economics are the same. It doesn't matter how big your retirement assets are. The economics of the 4% rule, which says we don't know, Wall Street we don't know if the market's going up or down. We don't know when you need to draw money for your lifestyle, if we'll be in a recession or not. So you've got to be very careful. If all you have is our Wall Street retirement income plan, we got to be careful. Don't take out more than 4%. And here's the part that they generally don't tell you. The 4% rule today has a 12 to 15% failure rate, projected failure rate. So what that equates to is like, wait a minute, I start with $40,000 a year out of my $1 million, right? Well, there's a 12% chance, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that one of you will run out of money before you die because $40,000 might be a little too high. We don't know what the markets will bring, right? So picture this. Let me bring it to today. The stock market is in the news every day, like another high. As a matter of fact, the stock market at its new high is not even news anymore. Like they don't even really cover it anymore. Okay. And yet I think it's the biggest story that should be covered in the financial markets is just how high it is. Well, how big does the fall happen after a big run up? Well, someday, maybe, this market is going to take a dive. It's going to reset. Something's going to happen. It's inevitable. It happens every time. But let's bring it back to the retiree, someone who begins their retirement income plan now, right now, today, at this high watermark at the stock market. And if all we have is the Wall Street plan, and we draw 4% as our starting point, and then we have a big downslide, and we still draw 4% out, we could hit our retirement assets really hard in the first 5 years of a retirement plan. That's the key, folks. The first 5 to 10 years is when you are most vulnerable. If you are retiring on the Wall Street investment only 4% rule, you are most vulnerable in that 5 to 10 years at the beginning of your retirement. And that's why I'm so scared for folks today that don't know this stuff, that if they're going into a retirement income plan today at the top of the markets, I mean, the absolute highest ever top of the markets, how much trouble could they get in 3 years from now when the market corrects? 1 year, 2 years, whenever it is, when the market corrects in a big way, how much damage could that do to their long-term retirement income plan? I'm here to tell you it's pretty significant. If you have no other strategy, if you have no other engineered plan to maximize your retirement income, the 4% rule is what you are generally stuck with. And if you don't like a 12 to 15% chance of failure, what is failure? Running out of money before you run out of life, right? That is unacceptable. Dying broke sounds cool when you say it. I'm going out just like I came in. Well, great. That's not something to actually look forward to, because if you're alive and broke, that is not a good place to be when you're 90, right? So, $3 million, $120,000 a year. Do you think if you had the ability to save up $3 million that you're comfortable and happy and thrilled to be going towards $120,000 a year retirement income from your investments? Probably not. Even if you save up $500,000, are you excited about $20,000 a year? Probably not. I'm here to tell you, the 4% rule is still out there. It is pervasive in the Wall Street only investment community retirement conversation. It is not something you, listeners to this show, have to go towards. You can actually choose an engineered solution with income that's 60, 70, 80, 90% higher than the 4% rule, but you actually have to have a plan. Here's the secret that Wall Street doesn't like to say, that maximum retirement income cannot be solved by simply saving more money in investments. It just can't be. You can't do it with life insurance. You can't do it with investments. You can't do it with real estate. You can't do it with annuities. You've got to have a balanced, integrated approach with all of those things. And yes, you can go for much greater than 4% income in retirement. Now, this next section, I want to cover something that I actually heard at my car show when I was talking to a friend at my car show over the weekend. Now, last week, I did address a question that came up regarding 15-year mortgages and 30-year mortgages. Please know this. A 15-year mortgage is almost always a bad idea, and I can prove it economically and mathematically. Just simple. Take your opinion for what it is. If you've heard it from anybody, financial entertainers or bankers, the 15-year mortgage is generally just flat out wrong in most cases, okay? And I can prove it mathematically and economically. Go back and listen to the last episode and prior to that, but please, if you have questions about mortgages and 15 versus 30 and you want to see the numbers, Kraig at kraigstrom.com, Kraig at kraigstrom.com. We will go through the numbers for you and I'll show you. Now, this week, special needs planning. Special needs planning. A friend of mine at my car show shared his plans for his special needs son. His son is severely autistic and will never be independent. He will never be independent. He said that he did have a special needs trust for his son. Now, a special needs trust is something I'll cover in a little bit, but I asked him what his plans were, just to make sure that his son was guaranteed to be okay financially. And he said, well, I'm working on paying off my house so he can have that asset to sell. And he will have all of my cars. Now, this person being at my car show, you might imagine, has a pretty good car collection. Now, he also said he had some cash in his retirement accounts, not a huge amount, but it will help. And I noticed as I'm listening to him say these things, he had made not one mention to life insurance. He hadn't made one mention to life insurance. What is he talking about? He's talking about protecting his son financially if he dies. And he had mentioned nothing about life insurance. Apparently, he has an attorney who's done a special needs trust. Apparently, the attorney, attention all attorneys listening at this point, apparently the attorney hadn't actually mentioned life insurance either. Life insurance is the ultimate protection for situations just like this. A little detail just first, okay? A special needs person could be someone in various circumstances, physically or mentally unable to care for themselves. Could be a child, could be a mom, dad, could be a cousin, could be anybody in the family, right? Usually it's a lifelong condition that they are never going to be able to take care of themselves. They're often eligible to receive state welfare benefits, but there's a limitation on the amount of assets that you can hold personally and still get benefits. For example, I met a family where 2 of the 3 children, adult children, were both on state disability coverage for physical ailments that they have, legitimate physical issues, right? One of the kids, the brother, had brittle bone disease. He literally would, just fracture an arm if he bumps into the wall. He really can't get out and work, right? He's basically homebound, stuck. So he receives state disability benefits, but he was also about to inherit money from his mom who was passing away from cancer. Well, the amount of money that he would have received would have immediately eliminated his state welfare, Social Security disability benefits, etc. Okay? A special needs trust is designed to hold the assets of a person with disabilities, specifically for their health, education, maintenance, and support. HEMS, HEMS. Health, education, maintenance, and support assets in these special needs trusts are not counted as their assets and therefore do not diminish their state or federal assistance. Really important, okay? So now, back to my big question for this friend at my car show. How is your life insurance set up? And he says, well, I don't have any. I said, what? He says, yeah, no, I hadn't really thought about that. That is unbelievable. Number one, I mentioned it just under my breath a little bit earlier. Attorneys. I cannot believe this guy has got a special needs trust and the attorney didn't introduce him to someone to get life insurance. Life insurance is the ultimate financial asset in this situation, right? You can literally use pennies to buy dollars of protection. It's really simple. Here's an example, okay? So this guy, age 51, healthy guy, for $4,000 a year, transferred to a life insurance company. That's only $334 a month. $4,000 a year. Now, by the way, this is not term insurance because how long is his special needs son going to live? A long, long time. How long is he going to live? A long, long time. You don't want to be buying term insurance for this kind of a situation. You need permanent insurance that will pay today at 51, 70, 90, 95. You need to know for sure that your loved one is protected on a guaranteed basis. So, $4,000 a year transferred to an insurance company immediately gives this guy and his special needs son a $500,000 guaranteed death benefit. Period. Just pay that premium, guaranteed death benefit, no matter what. So do the math. What if he lives for 30 years? 30 years, he pays $120,000. Now, I hear people out there, financial entertainers, going, oh, you could invest that money. Really? How much money do you really think you have to invest? And what rate of return do you think you have to get to meet a $500,000 number? Oh, that's right. It's impossible because the life insurance guarantees the $500,000 immediately, day one. There is no investment on the planet that can match the protection for this guy's son that life insurance can give him. Nothing on the planet can give him that kind of protection. So if he pays premiums for 30 years and dies at basically 91 years or 81 years old, his son gets $500,000 income tax free right into his special needs trust. It doesn't affect his state and federal benefits. and he has financial resources that can be used to care for him through the rest of his life. That's huge. Plus, maybe the car collection and the house don't need to be sold immediately. Maybe we can take time to sell those assets and get the best possible deal for them because we have $500,000 sitting in the bank. Folks, if you know somebody in this situation, they have a special needs son or daughter, grandson or daughter, please contact me, Kraig at kraigstrom.com, or you can get me on LinkedIn. Please hear me. Life insurance is the ultimate asset for this exact kind of scenario. It's the ultimate asset to leave behind if you want to leave behind dollars to cover lost income, to support a son or daughter who might want to still go to graduate school, right? And that, let's see, if you were going to pay for graduate school out of your normal income and cash flow and then you die, well, life insurance comes in to pay for grad school, right? Life insurance is there for a lot of different things. But in a situation like this, special needs planning, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that his attorney let him get a special needs trust without introducing him to a life insurance person. So I'm going to correct that. I've already introduced myself so that I can help him get this conversation started and do something about it. If you know someone out there in your family or in your close circle that has a situation like this, be brave. Ask them, how is your life insurance set up to take care of your son or daughter? And if they say it's not, please be even more brave and say, wow, you should talk to this guy, Kraig. He is passionate about this, and I am here to help. That's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much again for all the support. I think it's still soon enough, if it's January, to say Happy New Year. Please don't forget, take action. Get off that procrastination bandwagon and actually do something about it. If you haven't seen your retirement income projection the way that I compare it side by side, you've got to do that. Go to Kraig at kraigstrom.com as an email. Go to kraigstrom.com or Kraig at kraigstrom.com. Send me an email. Let's talk about your personal path to maximum retirement income. Talk to you real soon.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast. If you missed anything during the show, that's okay. We took the notes for you. Check the show notes for links, offers, and a full transcript. And don't forget to head over to personalpensionradio.com and download your free retirement income report. While you are there, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening.
Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.